Hello and thank you for tuning into this video. My name is Jada Brown Thompson, and today I'm going to be discussing how I registered my company in Jamaica as an overseas individual. Now, I do want to note that this video will not be a walkthrough on like the particular steps, and it's not a how-to guide, but more so me just sharing my experience as someone who has recently done this and done it successfully, because my company is now registered in Jamaica. Yay! So if you're looking for a how-to guide, comment down below, because I can make a video where I screen record exactly how to go through the different forms and what you need to register a company. And I will also implore you all to look at Jamaica with Irie's video, where she literally went to the company's office of Jamaica and she spoke with the director there. That video was so informative and helpful. I watched it many times with my own journey of registering a company, and she just did an amazing job walking everybody through the rules and regulations. But if you watch the video and then you come back and you still have questions, or you want me to do my own video, comment down below, and I definitely do not mind doing that. Okay, so let's jump right into my experience with doing this, right? So again, I registered a company in Jamaica. I live in Virginia, right? I'm in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and I am not a Jamaican citizen. So this is somebody who has no relations or ties to Jamaica outside of my husband and children, but I myself am not a Jamaican citizen yet. Okay, and you may wonder, why would you even do that? I've been pretty vocal on this channel with the fact that we do want to move to Jamaica in the near future, and I will continue to document our progression with our move on this channel, so make sure to subscribe. But so I decided that we needed to register a company there, because we are going to eventually open our doors, and I will talk about that more, but I don't want to talk about it too much now, because that's how you ruin good things. Okay, so before you register your company, the first thing that you want to do is figure out the structure of your company, right? Because there are various types of categories of a company or a business in Jamaica. So the first is a company, and I'm reading this directly from the company's office. This is the first structure. So a company is a commercial enterprise registered or incorporated under the Companies Act. A company can be either a nonprofit, which is like a charity or NGO, or it can be profit generating. And then a business is a sole trader, partnership, or trade name registered under the Registration of Business Name Act. So right here, I started off coming in thinking like a company and a business are the same thing, and I can use those two terms interchangeably. And actually in Jamaica, you can't. It is different. So that was something that was different for me, but was actually quite interesting. So the way that I think about it is, a company could either be, again, like a 501c3, which is a nonprofit, or it could be like a LLC, which is a limited liability company. And you're probably familiar with those terms that I'm using if you live in America. And then the second is a business, which is like a sole proprietor or a partnership. So I decided to use a company because I wanted some of the protections that a company affords you that a business does not. But if you're just someone who has like a small business and it's just you, and it hasn't grown so large yet, then maybe a business is right for you. But for me, a company is what I decided to register. And then I do want to point out that if you have an overseas company like I do, I have an LLC, 7 Seas Properties LLC, which is in this area, you can register a overseas company in Jamaica, you only need 3 documents. And this is if your headquarters are, like, let's say in America, and then you're opening up a second branch in Jamaica, maybe this will work for you. But for my purpose, I decided that I wanted to register a local company instead of opening up a second, like, location in Jamaica. Okay, so like I said, I did a profit generating company in Jamaica. I did this completely online, so it can be done online, and the process was really, really easy. So one of the first things that I had to do was I had to create an account and then reserve a company name, right? So you look up the name that you would want, and then if it's taken, then obviously you have to choose a new name or, like, play around with the names a little bit, which I had to do. You can, again, register the name and reserve it for up to 90 days. And this is advantageous for you because you don't want somebody else to steal your name while you're getting your paperwork together. So you can do a name search and then you can reserve it for up to 90 days if you want. And doing this is great because you establish that the name is appropriate and it's available for use. You protect the name from others so that they do not take it while you're trying to, register your company. And then it allows you as the company to use the name for pre-incorporation contracts with certainty. So nobody else is going to take this name while you're still, getting everything together. So now I'm actually going to talk about incorporating your company. So like I mentioned before, you can do this completely online and it is so fast. Like, I registered my company on Tuesday, and by Friday I got an email that the incorporation status could be picked up from their office. So that's really great. As an overseas individual, there are some things that you need to know about registering a company. The first is that if you are the director or the secretary, you will need a TRN, which is a tax registration number, and it's needed to do any type of business on the island. If you want to open a bank account, there's so many things. Even, I think if you want to pick up money from, like, Western Union, you have to have a TRN number. And I like to think of this as like your social security number. So you definitely have to make sure you get your TRN. And then the next thing to note is that if you are registering a company as an overseas person and you don't have any of the certifying requirements to work in Jamaica, you can be a director or a secretary of your company, but you can't legally do work or work for your company, if that makes sense. So, like, I can have my company in Jamaica, which I do, right? I'm a director of the company, but legally I'm not allowed to work for my company because I don't have a work permit and I am not yet a citizen. So I have to either A, use my company to get a work permit because I'm doing business, or B, what I'm going to do is get a marriage exemption work permit because I'm married to a Jamaican citizen, so I don't have to go and get a work permit. I have an exemption because I'm married, and hopefully my paperwork comes through for me to be a citizen before then, but I'm going off on a tangent. In this video, the important thing to note is that even if you are a company director or secretary as an overseas person, you still will need the proper paperwork in order to work legally for your company, okay? And if you want me to talk more about those different classifications of work permits and how you can become a permanent resident or get a citizenship through marriage, please comment down below and I can make a video about that. But in terms of incorporating, that is important to note. Another thing that's important to note when registering is that a company must have 2 persons who are registered as a director and a secretary. So my point is, the director cannot also be the secretary, and the same person who's your secretary cannot solely be the only director, right? It has to be at least two persons. So for our company, I'm the director and then my husband is the secretary. Another thing that's important to know as an overseas person is that when you're filling out the incorporation online, you need to have an address that is located in Jamaica, right? And so I ended up calling the company's office of Jamaica's customer service and asking, could I use my address in the US? And then when we have our commercial lease, could I just change the address? And she was like, no, that's not the way that it works. You have to have an address in Jamaica, and then when you get your commercial lease, you can change it by paying $2,000 to change the address for your company, right? So what I ended up doing is I used the address of where the land that we have, where we're building a house. Out is that when you're registering a company, you have to put how many shares of the company there are at incorporation. And I had no idea how to even go about this, honestly, and I would advise you guys to speak with an attorney. But what I did, because I know that this is a private company and that I probably would never have any shares, I just put on there 100 shares. And that was it. So, and the form that you have to fill out online is Form 1A, which is for profit generating companies. Okay. And then you also put on that form if there are any restrictions in terms of adding or removing directors. My company only has one director, and I don't plan on adding any more. So if you do, make sure that you check out where it says restrictions on Form 1A when you're registering your company. And the process honestly was very simple. Like, I literally just created an account online, and then I filled in the information about the company. So I had reserved the name already, and you just select that from the drop down that you're registering the company that you already reserved the name for, and then you fill in all of the pertinent information. So it asks questions about myself as the director. So they're like, who are the directors? So you add the directors, their name, their address, their phone number, their email, and then you also add the secretary, same thing, name, address, email, TRN number, and then you get to the point where it's time to certify the documents. So if there were any directors that you added who were not filling this out themselves, they get an email with the code, and then they have to sign the certifying documents, because it makes sense. Like, if I'm adding Jimmy John, right, onto the incorporation, if he doesn't know and I just happen to have his information, now he's a director of my company and he never authorized that, right? So they're going to send an email to that person that you're adding to the certifying document, the incorporation, and then they're going to fill it out. So they're just signing saying, yes, I authorize this. And then once that's done, you pay the fee, and then it goes to the company's office of Jamaica, and then you get an email when it's ready for pickup. And I want to point out, which was really, really helpful for me and for anybody who is watching this and you're overseas, you can designate an authorized representative on your incorporation application for pickup. So you can either have them mail the incorporation information to the address that you put on there, or you can have somebody pick it up. I elected for my friend, shout out to my friend O'Dane, he picked it up for me, and when he went, They said it was ready for pickup, and then when he went, they're like, oh, which was horrible. And obviously it wasn't available for pickup, but eventually we were able to get it all sorted out, and he was able to pick up the incorporation. And I do want to share with you guys what information is on the incorporation status, because I have a certificate of the incorporation of a company. This is literally the name of the document that I received from the company's office, and it says, I hereby certify that name of the business was incorporated under the Companies Act as a limited company. That's another thing that I want to mention. When you're registering a company in Jamaica, literally a company, not a business, but a company, you have to put limited at the end of the business name, just like you would put LLC at the end of your company name in America, right? So it says the date, and then at the bottom of this, it has the company number, the NIS number, the TRN, and it says NHT applied, heart applied, right? So that is what it says on the document. So it was really an easy process, and I hope this video is helpful for you guys. Let me know. I can do a more detailed, in-depth video like I said. But let me tell you why it's important to register as a company, okay? First of all, it makes you look legitimate, right? You have taken the time to say, you know what, this company is legitimate. I have registered it with the relevant authorities. And if you're going to get commercial leases, you literally have to have this incorporation, because I met with the realtor and I'm like, okay, by such and such time, I want to start looking for a place, right, to rent. And he was like, great, yeah, we can do that. I need your incorporation information. And it literally asked for like the company's TRN. It asked who the particulars of the directors. It asked about the secretary. And he was like, before we can start looking for a place, like, I need this filled out. So if you want to get a realtor and you want to get like a rental, like a commercial rental, you need to have your company registered, and it just makes you look more like professional, in my opinion, if you take the steps to prove that your company is legitimate. So let me know again if this video was helpful for you guys. If you want a series where I talk about some of the steps that I am doing to move to Jamaica, please let me know and I can make a series and talk about some of the things that we're doing. And if you want more information about the steps to register a company or even a business in Jamaica, let me know. I can have the realtor come on and do an interview, you know, whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of great content coming out for you guys. So I will see you in my next video.